Well, it is a rainy day here on the homestead. Cows are grazing, rains are dripping, ponds are filling up, and we're going to make some blackberry jelly. Most of the other recipes on YouTube are also short of telling you how many blackberries to use. They just use what they have. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you specific amounts of blackberries and show you how many blackberries it takes to make a run of jelly. That's what we're going to make today. Jelly, not jam. Jelly is going to be just from the juice. Jam would have the seeds and pulp in it. So we're going to have just jelly. That is 8 cups of blackberry. That is probably about 2 cups of blackberries. So I'm going to say we have 10 cups altogether of blackberries. You'll need blackberries, 3 things: blackberries, sure gel, and granulated sugar. Now these are fresh blackberries, picked a day or 2 ago. And first you want to wash them. Now I don't wash mine until I'm ready to use them. But I don't wash them before I freeze them. I wash them before I use them. So we're washing these usually. Sometimes when you pick blackberries, you'll get a stick or a little piece of leaf or a bug or something like that. And when you wash them like this, that stuff will usually float to the top. So we'll wash them, then we'll run them through a colander to strain, and we'll be ready to go in the pot with them. Now they say use a non-reactive pot. So I'm using stainless steel. I'm going to start with 1 cup of water. So that's a pint jar. I'll just put about a half a pint in there. So for this, I'm going to put 1 cup of water for right now. And if it looks like I need more, I will put more. But that's 1 cup of water, and we're going to put it on the stove and let it start cooking. So I've got this under a medium heat, and I will let it start getting up to temp, and then we'll mash the berries, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, starting to warm up a little bit. Again, we have just 1 cup of water in it. May put an extra cup. We either don't have or I can't find the potato masher, so I'm just using a quart jar. I'm going to start mashing those berries, and once they start getting warm, they mash pretty easily. So we'll just do that for a while. We're going to bring them up to a boil for about 10 minutes. We've got a long way to go before we boil, so I'll let that go. Stirring all the time because you don't want it to burn. You don't want to scorch those berries. You have a nasty taste. So let's just keep doing this. I'll mash them probably one more time in just a minute, but we definitely want to stir. If you see one in there that needs a little mash, you can go in there and mash it a little bit. But that heat helps those berries release that juice, break up, release the juice. Okay, so I've quit stirring it. It's been 10 minutes or a little more maybe. It never came to a full rolling boil. The next step, you will bring it up to a rolling boil, but not this step. So I've got these going, got my lids going. Sterilizing the lids. I didn't show you, but I've also got my jars. You didn't see those cupcakes, did you? I've got my jars in the little oven over there, sterilizing. That's the main thing. Everything sterile, sterile, sterile. So I've moved the blackberry mixture over to the counter, and I'm about to squeeze it. You can use a sieve for this. You can use cheesecloth to squeeze all the juice out of it. It's where you don't have pulp and seeds in it. This is some little old doodad my wife brought home from the antique mall. You crank it, and as you do, this little blade pushes the berries down through that sieve, pushes the juice through the sieve, leaves the mush and the berries and the seeds and stuff like that on top, and does a pretty good job of separating everything. So this is some kind of little, this is probably an antique. Look below the video on Amazon, and I'll give you a link to this. Okay, so I've got my ladle. I'm gonna try not to get any of that juice on anything. I would suggest you don't get the juice on anything that you don't want to be purple for the rest of its life, because that juice will stain big time. So I could probably just pour some of it in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and ladle it. And this is just the 1 cup of water. I did not put that extra cup in it like I said I was going to, because it just doesn't look like it needs it. You can hear it running through the sieve, but then we'll start cranking on it and it really pushes it through. Again, this is hot stuff, so be careful. And don't use, try to use stainless steel only, because again, it will stain. If you've got a wooden spoon, and if you don't want it to be a purple wooden spoon, don't use it, because it will definitely turn purple. All right, as I crank this, listen. You can hear it start squeezing those berries through that sieve on the bottom. Back up every now and then to catch a few more. And what I'm looking for is 3 3/4 cups of juice. Not mixture here, not mash, but the juice. 3 3/4 cups of juice. And I'm gonna put 4 1/2 cups of sugar with it. And the sure gel. Boil it up. And we're done. And then we're gonna go one more time through a sifter, a sieve, a little handheld sifter. Just to make sure we got everything out that we want out. So I transferred my juice to a pouring pitcher, and I'm going to refine it one more time through this strainer, and you'd be surprised. It gets a lot more of it. And if you don't have one of those whirly gigs, you can just use this. Just do this. Most everybody's got a strainer like this. It's just going to take longer. You're going to have to probably wash it out, clean it off 2 or 3 times, because it will get stopped up just like it is right now. Scrape it around a little bit, and it'll start filtering the juice better. I got a little bit more. Pour in there. I got quite a bit more I'll pour in there. Again, I'm looking for 3 3/4 cups of just juice. I'm getting pretty doggone close. I think that is 3 cups right there. And it's slowly going in. Again, if you're doing this as your only means of a sieve or a strainer, then it's going to be slow go, and I would do a little bit at a time, wash it out, come back, do some more, because it's just getting, the little holes are getting stopped up. Moving it around helps. Squashing it down through helps. But you're doing the whole thing with just this, with the seeds and all that, it's going to be tough. All right, let me look at my mixture. I am at, well, I just like just a few drops, getting to 3 3/4. Okay, so I've got my blackberry juice in here, 3 3/4 cups of blackberry juice. And this is my package of pectin, sure gel. And it may tend to clump, so I want to stir while I'm putting it in, so it doesn't clump up. But it's going to boil. It's going to get up to a rolling boil, but stirring constantly. Don't want to burn it. Put too much work into it to scorch it at this time, all right? Don't want to burn it. After you get to a full rolling boil, then you will add your sugar. Right now it's just juice and pectin. Add your sugar. Bring it back up to a full rolling boil, stirring constantly. And again, full rolling boil is when it's boiling, even while you're stirring it like that. So I'll add my sugar, bring it back up to this, and then let it boil for 1 minute. Got my juice, sugar, pectin mixture. I'm going to start ladling it into my jars. Remember, these jars were in that oven. Sterilizing. Get pretty close to the top on this. About a 1/2 inch to an 1/8 inch from the top. That is hot stuff. Doing it this way, I haven't had any failures. Now, I will say this. Years ago, I did this and I ran 2 runs. I had a bunch of fruit and I said, well, if one run is good, 2 runs would be better, wouldn't it? Don't do 2 runs at a time. It will not gel. I don't understand it. You're using the same, you're doubling your pectin, your sure gel, there's no reason, but it will not gel. Run 1 run at a time as far as your sure gel goes. All right, so you saw that I had, just for reference purposes, you saw I had about 10 cups, maybe 11, of blackberries. Squeezed it out, put 1 cup of water in it, and I've got 3 pints. These are not jelly jars, those are pints. 3 pints full of jelly. So let me put the lids and rings on it and show you that. We're going to wipe off the threads around and the tops, because I probably got spilt a little juice on it. I want those threads nice and clean so they'll seal good. Ring will go on there well and seal it good. Wipe the tops and the threads. If you're going to do any canning, you need to get a little home canning kit similar to this. It's got tongs to lift these up when they're hot, and it's got a magnetic lid lifter. You've got your lids and rings in hot water. That picks them up out of the hot water without burning your hands. So let me bring those over. All right. All right, that is hot. Get something to grab a hold of it with. And I'm gonna get it just finger tight. I'm not gonna crank down on it, just finger tight. Finger tight. Finger tight. Again, not really cranking down on it like I could, but just finger tight. Go back and check. So at this point, I'm gonna put it in a canner, a water bath canner, for 5 minutes and let it boil for 5 minutes, come to a boil and boil for 5 minutes. Okay, we got our boiling. We're gonna do that for 5 minutes, take them out. Okay, so here we are. I hope that was step by step enough for you. It yields 3 pints. So 10 cups of berries, 1 cup of water, squash them down good. Get you 3 pints of really, really good jelly. I've already made, this is my 3rd run, and I have just been, I've been eating way too much of the jelly. I need to slow down a little bit. I hope the specificity of this was beneficial to someone, and you'll go out and do this yourself. All right, Blackberry Jelly. I'll write the date on it, 2021, and that it's BB. I'll put BB on it for Blackberry, and man, we're good. All right, and we're gone.